Well, hello everyone. Welcome to chapter 86 of The Last Words of a Busy Mind. This one titled Only Murders in the Building. Back in chapter 81, the parents, I talked about watching Only Murders in the Building, and I said when this season ends, I'll do an episode on it. Well, guess what happened this week? Before we go on, my drink today is juice. It's apple, lime, and a honey mix. Not too bad. Not too bad. A little bit tart, but that's great. I do love tartness. Um, well, also, as you probably can see by my voice, my throat is not yet healed. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's my lifestyle, but changing it would be too hard. Anyways, what is Only Murders in the Building? It's a Hulu show. Is it Hulu? Let me check. I don't really pay attention to the opening. What do you call it? Title cards anymore. Like this presents. So yeah, it's Hulu. It is Hulu. So it's a Hulu show starring Steve Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, as well as a number of other actors like Nathan Lane, Tina Fey, and as of season 2, Cara Delevingne, and Amy Schumer. I don't like her. So, it's a show about podcasting and about a true crime podcast, and it's a mystery comedy. But we'll get to all of that. First, I need to talk about my own personal relationship with this show. I don't know how many of you remember, and I really hope there is not much of you. Like, if you remember this, I'm so sorry for you. But there was this show way back in the day. I've written the name here, but I didn't write when it came out. Way back in the day in 2016. Now, this show was called Crisis in Six Scenes. It was for Amazon Prime. It starred and was directed by Woody Allen. Now, back then, at least I didn't know much about Woody Allen's, stuff. You know, his sexual allegations. And the show was starring a very old performer who was very big in the 70s, and Miley Cyrus, a pop star. So, fast forward a couple of years, and suddenly Steve Martin and Martin Short, who have been doing a tour together, uh, start coming up on talk shows and talking about a new show that they're doing called Only Murders in the Building. Now, these are two very old comedians. Steve Martin also very prominent in the 70s, and Martin Short, I guess, more in the 80s. When did Three Amigos came out? That was mostly like his big start. Three Amigos, 1986, yeah. Martin Short, mostly the 80s. And they said they are teaming up with Selena Gomez, a pop star from, the younger folk. I immediately was skeptical of Only Murders in the Building because in my head it was going to be another Crisis in Six Scenes. Old people not understanding young people and trying to act cool, and it's going to be very unfunny. And so I didn't hype myself up. That's a good way of putting it. I actively was like, oh, this is gonna be bad. This is gonna be just like Crisis in Six Scenes. Well, then the show came out, and I loved it. Honestly, no joke. Only Murders in the Building is one of the best contemporary TV shows that I've seen. It's a great mix of comedy, drama, and mystery, and I do mean the mystery is a big part of it, and I'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, it was great. Like the comedy was so on point. They didn't try to act as if oh, we're gonna act hip and cool, ultimately becoming cringy. Um, they knew their strengths, and they gave Martin Short a lot of sassy lines. He's a true asshole, which is kind of fun because when you watch Martin Short playing, not playing, when Martin Short appearing in interviews and or on talk shows, he is that kind of an asshole, and I love it. And so yeah, I watched the show and I fucking loved it. And I do recommend if you're listening to this, go and watch Only Murders in the Building. As I said, it's a show about podcasting, true crime podcasts in particular, and it has a good mystery for both seasons. I think the second season mystery is more convoluted. I mean, it's not bad, it's just more convoluted. Uh, the first season feels more cohesive, which is the case for many of like these kind of shows because the first season has been worked on like for a long time, and then the second season is mostly the first season got way more uh, fans that we knew, so we need to do a second season. The same is true for Ted Lasso, which the third season for will come out pretty soon, and I'm kind of excited for that because I also love Ted Lasso. The first season felt more cohesive, and the second season was more, well, disjointed. Only Murders in the Building. Like, Amy Schumer just disappears second or third episode onward. It's like she's not even there. So why give her any time? And some plot lines are just resolved too quickly. Okay, so before we go on, I need to talk about Steve Martin and Martin Short. I don't really have any connections with Selena Gomez. I wasn't a big watcher of. Was it Wizards of Waverly Place that she was on? I don't. The Disney show she was on. I haven't watched a lot of Disney Channel, and so I really don't feel any special connections to her, and I haven't listened to a lot of her music. I know her mostly because of a movie called Spring Breakers, if I remember that correctly, which was for not good, not good. I mean, I've seen worse stuff, but not by far. uh, and let's see what else she was on. Oh yeah, it was The Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie. I was she? Oh yeah, she was in the show as well. She was one of the main roles. Good to know. I still have my brain. And then there was she was in Hotel Transylvania. I completely forgot that. And the Muppets. I don't remember in the Muppets. Anyways, okay, so uh, Only Murders in the Building. So I don't have a connection with Selena Gomez. I wasn't very excited, or to be honest, I didn't have an emotion. Yeah, she was good in some of them, so I thought, maybe she'll be good here. But I do love Steve Martin and Martin Short. I love Martin Short a little bit more, I think. I think the style of comedy that Martin Short does is more in my wheelhouse, being mean and quick witted. Basically, Don Rickles, but Irish. The way Steve Martin's comedy is very peculiar. Like, he is, like, the way he writes is complicated setups, simple punchlines, which when works is immensely powerful, like fantastically powerful, really. So I love these two, and they work great together, which is kind of weird because, as I said, the work with Steve Martin is complex setups, quick punchlines, and the work with Martin Short is mostly quick setups and punchlines, like rapid fire jokes. But these two work together kind of good. So yeah, I was excited to see them together, but again, before I knew what the show was, but when I watched the first season and saw how good it was, I couldn't wait for the second season. Despite, usually, as I said, second season for these kind of shows that become hits is not usually as good as the first season. So, how was the second season? As I said, a little bit convoluted, but I enjoyed it a lot. Like, there was a theme here. The first season was more of a story. The second season was more of an emotional theme. Like, there was a through line about parenthood. That is why exactly I talked about in that chapter 81, the parents, because the episode I watched on that week was weirdly about parenthood. And the whole season is about parenthood. Charles' parents make a cameo. Mabel's parents make a cameo. Oliver's parents do not. Oliver is Martin Short. Charles is Steve Martin. Mabel is Selena Gomez. I thought I needed to tell you that. So yeah, and for a show that is being made and watched in 2022, you kind of can't do 90s sitcom style, which is why I really can't tolerate Kanan anymore. I'll probably do a whole episode on that, like either a video or an audio form. So they tried their hand at adding a good mystery, and as I said, the mystery is good. And I am not a big fan of true crime podcasts. I haven't listened to much. Like I tried Serial that a lot of people liked. One episode and I was like, nope, not for me. Not for me. I don't care about these people. I don't care about the tragedies that befall them. I don't like true crime. But I do understand that people who listen to true crime form a sort of community. They talk about these people like they are characters in the show, which is what I don't like about true crime. But they form a community talking about them, which you actually see in the show as well. The fandom of our main characters true crime podcast. And so, yeah, sorry about the coughs. They are getting, at the same time, better and worse. So, as I mentioned, they get a community and they speculate about, what is going to happen? What happens to this character? And is this character going to be important? What is going on with these stories? Which is true for, any mystery story, but the thing about Only Murders in the Building is that because it's a comedy show as well as a mystery show, there is alleviation. Like, bad things might happen and you get sad or emotional for bad things that do happen, but you generally know there is a sense of ease there because the show is not Game of Thrones, it's not, blood and gore. Though there is a huge amount of blood for a comedy show, but like there is no blood and gore. Oh my god, my throat is fucking killing me. So the comedy underlying means that it is lighter and it's easier to speculate over it. And this is the first time I ever felt part of a community. I watch this show weekly. Many of the shows I leave to watch like at the end of it. Like right now, only What We Do in the Shadows is coming out. I'm not watching it weekly. I probably should, because that show is not something you want to binge watch. I'll get to that maybe some other time. But yeah, I watch this weekly, and as the weeks go by, I will talk to my friend who also watches it. I'd go online and talk watch comments on it, talking to the community. And it's the first time I felt ever that, oh, I'm part of a community now. I like I felt it kind of with Succession because I'm Team Connor, of course I am, and this is the first time I felt like, oh, I get now why people form communities around these kind of mysteries. But in true crime, I feel like it's too serious. In Only Murders, I feel good talking about. Oh, I think it's for the longest time. By the way, I'm not gonna do a lot of theories here because it will spoil, but I'll do one because that was my favorite theory, and I'm kind of sad it didn't go anywhere. I was kind of convinced that the killer in the second season was Theo Demas, Teddy Demas's son. And I had my reasoning, like I had, oh, there is this, there is that, there is this. Like I had my own set of reasonings that I talked about. It wasn't a little bit of spoiler, but it felt good theorizing. And each episode that would come out, oh, it's like every for me it's Tuesday. I watched the show on Tuesday. It's like, oh, every Tuesday, oh, it's Only Murders in the Building time. And I think that's the best way of experiencing this show. It's not a bingeable show. Oh, it is. I don't know. I haven't binged it. The first season I also watched weekly. Like I watched the first 3 episodes and I was like, oh no, I'm watching this weekly. But with each week you get to crystallize the information, you get to think about it, you get to talk about it with your friends, and then the next episode comes out and it works. And they also do a lot of creative stuff with the form of the show, like doing a whole episode, because one of the characters is deaf. They do a whole episode with no sound, with no dialogue. and they do a whole episode. They do a lot of form stuff, like they do continuous shots. There was an episode in this season where they do a very long continuous shot. It's great. I love this show. I don't know if this was any coherent, but I do hope that you, after listening to this, you're gonna go on and watch the show. It's great. It's not Crisis in 16. It's Only Murders in the Building. And as I said, as of now, like this Emmy season was very hard for me because there was 3 shows on it that I loved. Barry, great show by Bill Hader. Ted Lasso, another great show. And Only Murders in the Building, yet another great show. But I guess my heart was ultimately with Only Murders in the Building. Because that's the show that really, stuck there. I loved it. I loved the brand of comedy that it uses. I love the mystery. I love being part of its community. I love talking about it. I love thinking about it. I just love it. And the fact that these two, oh, it was a loud truck outside. And my phone, like, there is a barrage of noise at you right now, and I'm sorry for that. The thing is that this show got really, spoke to me, and I love Steve Martin and Martin Short, as I said, and the fact that these two are getting another rejuvenation is very fun to see. Okay, someone is sending me a message. Well, I have less than a minute left, so let me do the plugs, which is if you want to send me a message on Anchor, do send me a message. Your message will be played at the beginning of the next episode, and you will shape a whole episode around that. Probably. Also, but for sending a voice message, you need an Anchor account. If you don't want to do that, well, you can post a comment. I'm sure the podcast platform of your choice does have a place for comments. If you're doing it on Castbox, I will see it instantly because I do have Castbox and I've turned on the notification. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Go watch Only Murders in the Building, people. It's really good.